So you're trying to figure out how to do a taper on yourself and you've come to the right place. I'm gonna break it down real simple for y'all, man. I'm gonna be showing you how to do a taper on yourself. All you need is a few things. It's real simple. And with a little patience, man, and a little dedication and a little time and a little blood, sweat, and tears, you're gonna be having perfect haircuts whenever you want, wherever you want. If you got any questions, man, just leave them down in the comments. I'll try to answer all of them. But without further ado, man, let's get started. As you can see, I got a 3-way mirror back here. You don't necessarily need this, but if you're serious about cutting your own hair, I highly recommend it. As you can see, man, I'm looking tough right now. Just for a little quick breakdown, I basically just have like a taper, like a mid-low taper. Alright, so to start it off, man, I start off with my 3-guard. I'll lever all the way open. That's what I use to trim down all the sides, basically. So I'm gonna just hold my hair up, and I use my hand as basically like a shield to not cut into the long hair. And keep in mind, depending on how long you want your hair to be and what hair texture you have, you might want to do like a number 2 or 1.5, or just go longer. But me personally, I'm gonna stick with the 3-guard.
I forgot to mention this and record it because I was off camera, but you want to comb through your hair with the grain, the way that it grows, before you start cutting. You want to make sure that you comb it through.
So now that you're done with all that, you want to take your trimmer and you want to set in your bald line. Since this is like a mid-low taper, I'm going to be setting it in like right at the top of the ear. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention that these are the Babyliss Boost trimmers and these are the JRL clippers. As you can see, that's our first guideline right there. I think I also forgot to mention, man, to get you some shavers. It basically eliminates all that stubble that gets left behind with your trimmer. Basically, take your shaver and just get rid of all this stubble right here. You don't want to go all the way up though, or else you're going to create a harsh guideline that's going to be hard to flick out. If you don't have this, you don't need it. Like, it's not a necessity, but it's just going to help it last longer. Next step, man, you want to take a clipper, lever all the way open, and you want to create a guideline that's about a finger's width. And as you're creating this guideline, you want to make sure that you're scooping out. As you fade this whole entire process, you want to be scooping out, because if you're not scooping out, you're going to be creating these harsh guidelines. They're going to be really hard to erase. You can do all the stuff that I tell you, but if you're not moving your hands correctly and flicking it out, you're not going to be able to really like get a nice crispy blend. I don't know how well you can see it, but there's that little guideline that I created right there. So now basically what we want to do is we want to erase this gap right here. So now in order to erase this, man, you're going to close your lever halfway. And basically what you want to do is, as you see this little section right here, you're going to pretend that you're cutting it in half, and you're going to flick out at that halfway point. So about right here, you want to get there, and you just want to start flicking out and start slowly erasing that line and softening it up. So the difference isn't too noticeable, but now what you want to do is you want to close your shit all the way, and you want to go back to that original point right there, and you want to attack it, but you want to flick it out, man. You want to make sure that you're flicking it out good, or else you're not going to be able to properly erase that line. As you can see, it's starting to slowly fade away. Not all the way, but it's almost there. And while you're at this step, feel free to play around with your lever. And if you see any dark spots or any inconsistent spots, you just want to play around with it. You want to use the corner of your clippers to really detail it. You basically just want to try to make this as smooth as possible. And if you notice that your little bottom line isn't all the way faded out like mine, I don't know if you can really notice that, go back to your trimmer and do this same process, just very lightly. Try to flick it out. You want to make sure that you have a brush, especially if your hair is more curly, and you want to be able to brush the hairs down and repeatedly be brushing it down, because if you're not brushing it down, your hair is going to like curl back up and it's just not going to fade correctly. Now me, when I cut my hair, man, I honestly be going back and forth a lot. Now you want to put on your 1-guard and you want to have your lever all the way open. So you want to go up another finger's width and just do the same thing, create that guideline. I don't know how well y'all can see that. I low-key should have let my hair grow out a little bit more for the video, but that little line right there, that's my guideline. Since you're just starting, I wouldn't recommend doing your hair while it's short like this. I would recommend doing it every like 3 weeks. But yeah, as you can see, my shit's just all the way to here pretty much. And notice how I flick out every time I'm all the way up to this point. I'm flicking out. If you're not flicking out, man, your fade's not gonna come out nice. Now, this time, what you're gonna wanna do is you wanna close your lever all the way. You're not creating another guideline, you're just smoothing this little line that's right here, kind of erasing the line little by little. But this isn't gonna completely erase the line. This is just gonna basically smoothen it out. You don't wanna go all the way back up to here though. You only wanna go like halfway, just to smoothen the line out. Now this is what it's looking like. It's not too crazy of a difference, like I said. But now you want to go in with your half guard all the way closed, and you want to attack this little line right here. You don't want to go too high up, or else you're going to create a harsh guideline. You just want to flick out at that part. You want to use a corner of your clipper too if you can. Also, feel free to play with the lever, obviously. That's really going to help your blends out. Now I'm gonna go back a step real quick. I'm gonna take off all my guards. I see that I have to blend this a little bit better. So I'm gonna open this all the way and try to scoop that line out and just pretty much just play around with it like I said. As you can see, little by little, the taper is starting to slowly come in. Now we're going to be doing pretty much the same exact thing, but this time with a 2 guard. We're going to go up another finger's length, and then we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to close it back up, attack that guideline, soften it up a little bit. Then we're going to go in with the 1.5 guard and fully get that guideline out. Also keep in mind, this 2 guard is just going to be blending into this top right here. So you want to really be flicking this out and trying to blend it in good. Now, like I said, I'm gonna close this up. I'm gonna go back at it. I'm gonna attack it. I'm not gonna go all the way up though. I'm gonna go a little bit lower, and I'm just gonna attack that line. And by the way, if you're noticing that that 2 guard still left that little line right there, go back to your 3 guard, close it up all the way, and do that same motion attacking that line right there. Try to flick it out, use your corners, flick it out, and basically just try to erase that line, but don't go too high up on accident. Your goal isn't to bring this up, your goal is just to flick out that line. Now, like I said, we're gonna go in with that 1.5 guard, just like we did the half guard with the 1. You're gonna go in with the 1.5 guard. You're gonna close it all the way. You're gonna attack that line right there. But remember, you gotta stay flicking that out, and you don't want to bring it up. If you bring it up, your mid taper is gonna turn into a high taper and then a sky taper.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
So as you can see, there's still a little line right there. So I'm gonna go back to my 1 guard. I'm gonna play around with the lever, and I'm gonna just try to basically erase that little line that's right there. I remember when I used to watch these videos and I was first learning how to cut my own hair, whenever they would say like, you wanna play with the lever and go back, I would always get confused at those parts. Don't let this confuse you. You're gonna have to be doing the same thing. You're not gonna be perfect and just erasing the guidelines every time. And if you're not sure what to use something that you know is gonna be a little too big and have the lever all the way open. Try to cut it, and if you're hearing that there's no crunch noise, none of the hair is getting cut, gradually work the lever down. If it's still not working, jump down to like a shorter guard and then repeat the same thing and do the same thing. You can't grow back more hair, but you could take off more hair. As you can see, that line is a lot more softer now. It's not so harsh. So now, since the 1 guard all the way closed wasn't working, I'm gonna go back to the half guard all the way open, and I'm gonna completely erase that line. I still see a little bit of a dark spot, so I'm gonna close my shit up just 1 notch, and I'm gonna try to flick that out. For the most part, that's pretty good. My eyes are hurting from looking to the side so much. That's pretty good for now. I'm gonna go back to it later, detail it up a little bit. And also keep in mind, man, without the lineup, it doesn't look as crispy, man. Your lineup is gonna make or break your whole taper, your whole fade, whatever it is that you're getting. Your lineup is really gonna make a big part of that. But anyways, I'm gonna get this side out the way real quick. I'm gonna be repeating the same exact process, and then I'm gonna be showing y'all the back. I'm not gonna show you how to do this side because it's literally the same exact thing as here, and I can't even get that angle. Can't really get this angle, but this is what it's looking like pretty much. Now I'm gonna move on to the back. For the back, you pretty much want to do the same exact things, except your guidelines, they're gonna be a little bit thicker. What I used to do in the beginning was I would make my guidelines too tiny because I would have like low tapers and shit. The back will be very compressed. So as y'all can see, that's what my back is looking like. I got like a weird growth pattern back there. So pretty much for me, what I do to set in that bald line back there, I go to the highest point where I have consistent hair growth, and that's where I punch in my guideline. But also depending on whether you have a high taper or like a low taper, it just kind of depends. But I go up to about like right here. That's where I punch in my guideline pretty much, like right out where the ears end. This is also the part where I whip out the mirror, you feel me, so I can get them angles, especially down the middle. So like I said, first you want to put in that bald line. Yeah, basically this is what it's looking like after I shaved it down and everything. Now, like I said, you want to repeat the same exact steps. So now you want to go back to your no guard, lever all the way open, and you want to do the same thing. You want to create a guideline, flicking out. This time it's going to be about 1 inch width, so it's going to be a little wider than last time. You want to snap your lever halfway. You want to go halfway up that line and just go flicking out. That's what it's looking like. And now you want to close it all the way up just like we did right here, and you want to flick out that bottom line. So that's what that's looking like now. As you can see, it's nice and blended out now. There's still a couple of dark spots that I'm gonna go back and touch up at the end, but for now it's all good. To me personally, that's probably the hardest part, low-key, is just that part. Once you get to the longer lengths, it's easier to blend it in. So now we're gonna repeat the same exact steps as the side. Like I said, one guard all the way open, and we're gonna make another guideline. It's gonna be pretty much the same width as the one that we just created previously. So now once again, you want to close that bitch up and you want to attack that, soften up that guideline. Remember, you don't want to go all the way up. You want to go about halfway up and just flick out. But you want to go just a little bit. You want to go like to the little bit above that line and just go up and flick out. That's going to soften that line up for you. As y'all can see, man, that back part's really starting to come in now. Now we just gotta go again, once again, half guard, fully closed, and flick out that bottom line. Like I said, play with the lever if you have to. But basically, you wanna close the half guard all the way, and you wanna flick that out. And now we're gonna finish it out with the 2 guard all the way open. We're gonna create one last guideline. We're gonna flick out at the top to, you know, blend into the 3. And then we're gonna close it once again, just like we did with the 1. Go up a little bit, and then go in with the 1.5 and erase that last line. Now I'm gonna close it up and I'm gonna flick out that little line back there. Now I'm gonna go in with that 1.5 guard, close all the way, and I'm gonna flick out that last line. I don't know if you can see that, but there was a little bit of like a weight line all the way up there. So I'm gonna go in with that 3 guard close, just like I did on the sides, and flick out that last little like weight line that I wasn't able to get with the 2 guard all the way open. I don't know if y'all can see it, but the bald line back here is still a little bit visible. So I'm gonna take my trimmer and very lightly, I'm gonna flick it out. So now I'm gonna just go back real quick and look at everything that I've done and see what I have to detail. For example, right here, you see that little dark spot just right there. So pretty much, I'm gonna just try to fix any sort of imperfections that I see, and then I'm gonna finally line it all up.
A few moments later.
Alright, so now I'm pretty much done with all the detail work. So now I'm gonna line myself up, man, the best part. I'm gonna start from the back and I'm gonna work my way to the front. So when lining yourself up, man, basically, you don't wanna push yourself back. So you wanna brush your hair all the way down and pretty much get an idea of what is overhang and what is not overhang. So overhang is basically the excess hair that you have that is not a part of your hairline. Those little mini bangs that you have, you want to cut that off, but you don't want to go any farther than that. So you want to brush it all down, and then all those little straggly hairs, you want to cut that. You don't want to dig into what you have there. You don't want to dig in and make a whole new shape. You want to work with what you have. So you want to keep it as natural as possible, but you want to keep it nice and sharp too at the same time. So now that I got it nice and laid down, brushed down, you just want to go in and tap slowly. I don't know how well you see that. As you get up towards here, you want to start using the corner of your blade. It's going to be a little weird at first, but you want to hold your ear down and you just want to kind of move it and kind of carve it as you want it. Always be sure to brush down and go back, because you're like, it's always going to move and I know y'all see that, man. That shit's starting to come in nice and fresh, feel me? But you want to repeat the same thing on the other side, and then we're going to get on with the front. Alright, man, so now that we're all done with that, last but not least, we gotta fix this shit up, man. So first of all, if you got long hair, you wanna get your hair out, and you wanna get some hairspray, and you wanna get a light coat of that so you can hold your hairs in place. So it's very important that you spray it, and then you line it up. So this is the hairspray that I use. I use that Got To Be glued. So I'm gonna give it a light coat. Now you wanna get your brush, and you just wanna brush the hairs down and make sure that it's nice and straight. Now that it's all brushed down, man, you just want to let it dry for like 2 seconds, and then you want to start lining it up. So just like the back, man, the same rules apply. You don't want to push yourself back. So that's my highest point right there. So you want to go up about as high as that, and that's really about it. As you can see in the sidebars, there's a little bit of baby hair there, but that's not a pushback though, because that is way too like thin to line up. Like this would never be able to get a good lineup, you feel me? Any excess hairs and shit you want to shave off, but you want to get it as crispy as possible while keeping it natural. Now it's time to hit it with the razor blade, you feel me?
Hey man, that about wraps up the video. If you got any questions, man, just leave them in the comments. I'll try my best to answer all of them. If you enjoyed this video or learned something new, man, hit that like button.
Oh my God!